right, I want to welcome you to Inspector Paranormal Show. We're live from the LDL-TV studio in Jacksonville, Florida. We're on episode 3. Hopefully we got the bugs worked out today. Facebook seems to be working. Ustream's working. YouTube's working. All our platforms are working. And my editor was a little bit slow, but I wanted to get the edit of part 2 of our broadcast from Brunswick on the air tonight, because I got some really awesome EVPs. My man Marino is on the boards doing the production here. And I just want to reach out to our sponsors, who are Southern Gourmet Spice, the producers of Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. It's the best stuff, man. It goes on anything. Marino knows. Ribs, chicken, salad, soups, crickets, whatever your heart desires, as Marino would say. You can pick up a bottle of it today at southerngourmetspice.com. I run that website. We're going to make it a little bit better, but you can order it right here on Facebook, southerngourmetspice.com. Just look up the Facebook page, click on it, and take a look at it. I see Tanya just signed in. She's the proprietor, owner. She and Kenny are the owners of Southern Gourmet Spice. Grab a bottle today. There's faithful sponsors of all the LDL paranormal stuff we got going on here. Excuse me. And by our good friend Sal at Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. It's in St. Simons Island. It's the best pizza south of the border. And the border I'm talking about is the New Jersey, Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, whatever that border is there. It's the best pizza. salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com you can go to, or you get off exit 29 if you're coming north, and exit, I think it's 33 if you're coming south, and follow the signs to St. Simons Island and get off at Frederica Road, 3415 Frederica Road, for the best pizza. Sal also happens to be the owner of the building that we were investigating. We investigated this building January 13th. And on January 13th, we did like maybe an hour and a half investigation. And I've done 2 edits of it. We played part of it last week, and I just finished this week. I hurried it to completion, the investigation. But I'll tell you one thing. This has turned out to be probably the most productive investigation that we've had, next to maybe White Springs, in terms of voices and return. My conclusion is that there are a ton of spirit voices inside of 1313 Newcastle Street. 1313 Newcastle Street used to be the old Bijou Theater. Back in the 1880s when the building was built. You can see it there on the left-hand side. And it was the Bijou Theater all the way up to, my guess is it was like the 40s or 50s, because this postcard is from the 1940s, I think. And downtown Brunswick was a hopping, thriving metropolis of businesses. And the Bijou Theater, along with there was another theater down the street called the Ritz, and the Ritz is still in business. So I didn't realize it was still open and doing plays and stuff, but it is. And I got to believe that that place is probably haunted too. So we're going to make our way down there. But I finished the second half of the 1313 Newcastle Street investigation. And I have to tell you, there were some awesome voices and some things. I sent one to Sal, Tanya, and Kenny got a copy of it. I don't think I'm going to play it here because they're trying to keep it family oriented. But sometimes you get EVPs that are saying stuff that's real life. And I got one on there, and you can watch it. I'm going to post it on here afterwards. I'm not going to play it on the show because I'm streaming on YouTube, and they get mad when I stream, when I put anything up there. But watch the whole video. You'll know the one I'm talking about. It's talking about certain activities going on in that back room. Because there's something going on with that back room, and, you know, they clearly know who Sal is. That's all I'm going to say. But we also got a number of these EVPs on the second floor that were, or on the ground floor outside, that were the EVPs that I've never seen before. They were, in length, they were really long, like some of them 2.5 to 3 seconds. One of them was 5 full seconds. And I was suspicious at first because I'd never seen a voice pattern like that before. Generally, when you're using the SB7, they could be anywhere from half a second to, a couple tenths of a second to half a second to 3/4 of a second. But these were some of them 2 or 3 seconds, where someone was saying a whole sentence, and it was really weird. And there's a giant antenna right behind 1313 Newcastle Street, which I don't know if that's a police antenna to broadcast to the police or the fire or rescue or something like that. So I had my suspicions, thinking maybe there was overload from there, and it might well have affected what we were doing. But 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 EVPs we got, which I'm going to show you, were full-blown sentences, more than we'd ever even gotten before. And they said some stuff, some cool stuff. We could hear it when we were on the ground floor. I know Kenny and I were pretty in tune to it because we were just looking at each other going, wow, we never heard sentences like that. And they were broken up too. It was weird. It was as if the EVP had little breaks in it, but when you listen to it in totality, you could get the whole message. The other thing is that we've clearly identified a couple of spirits in that building that exist. Now, we've dealt with a guy named Biscup in White Springs, and I actually did hear a full-blown Class A EVP saying Biscup, and I haven't heard that in a long time. But we got it, and it's on the second half of this. But there's also a gentleman who is pretty relentless about saying his name, and his name is Bissell. I'm presuming it's Bissell, Bissell. And he's throughout the video. I think he's 5 different EVPs say Bissell. One of them says, I'm Bissell, which I'm going to show that EVP. This clip is about a couple of minutes long. It's towards the end, but check it out. If you got headphones on, put them on right now. It's going to sound a lot better. I got it well edited so you can hear it, and then I've got captions over it, obviously, so you can see where I think the EVP is. But this is on the second floor. After what the first half of the broadcast we did, we went up to that back room, that back right room, and then we came back out, and then we went back to that back room, and there's real activity on that. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip too. It says Bissell on there, and check it out. And the name Bissell comes at the very end of the clip. I think it's about 3 minutes long. So check it out. This is it's not been published yet either, so this is the first time anybody's seeing this other than me. So check it out. I'm going to show you some other parts later, but here it is. See that pit
What was
bull?
your name? The one that was pushing on my leg. Yeah, 0.4.
How long is this clip? I can't see it.
0.6.
1 minute.
Going back up again. 5. Yeah, here we go. 3. Hey, the person that was pushing on my pant leg right here, you were going just like this. You were pushing it in. What is your name? Talk right into this. Don't hold it up. Once you talk right into it, we can hear your voice. Kevin? Going on here, so.
This is more haunted than the house on Spring Street.
Did you say Bissell already? Did you say Bissell? Make sure you click off the headset and then come back.
Is that what you said? Don't push it? Not sure. I'm right 10% of the time. Hey,
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you can hear that Bissell EVP, and that, like I said, I think it was 5 in total for that guy named Bissell. He's clearly trying to communicate with us. I don't know who he is. I looked up Bissell. This investigation had more first and last name. In fact, they had a name at the very end, Richard O'Keefe, very clear. I'll show you that in the last clip. But first and last names were incredible here, and it's Kenny and Tiny would. And they're watching right now. They probably agree that there was a whole feeling that we were in a. My feeling, the best feeling I could describe it as is, if you've ever been to a busy downtown area, you know, in any major city that's had sort of a revival of their downtown with bars and clubs and stuff like that, and they turn these older buildings into bars and restaurants, which Brunswick is starting to do. It's just not a big crowd there, and you stand outside on a very, very busy day, and you see people inside, and then you step inside, and there's just a whole energy of people. That's almost what this felt like. Like there was an energy of a pile of people in there, because there were so many different voices and so many people saying first and last names. Like I said, that at the end of it, there's a Richard O'Keefe. That name was like super clear. I mean, there's a whole bunch throughout this. You can see these first and last names. Vanessa Prayer. That was one that was super clear. And there is somebody by the name of Vanessa Prayer. I looked her up. She's like 32. She lives in Atlanta. I want to freak her out and have her name being said. There was a reference to Facebook on there, and there seems to be references in this building too, a lot to the docks, boats, ships, stuff like that. I read up on Brunswick. Brunswick was like a pretty thriving port back in the day. There used to be like these cruise ships that went back and forth from New York all the way down to Brunswick. I was looking at, you know, like not Titanic, but they kind of look like the Titanic, but they were ships that carried passengers back and forth. It was like a 2-week journey or something, or I was reading one where there was a copy of the ticket. So there's a lot of references to boats and ships. I got a really good EVP that says something like can't get off the boat, or can't get off the dock, can't get off the boat, something like that. You'll see it in here. If you all want to call in, I got the phone lines open and everything seems to be working today. Hopefully there isn't any hum or buzz in the soundboard today, but the phone number is 904-302-7220. If you're watching, we can take your call and talk about what you're seeing. We're going to post the full part 2 when I'm done with the show tonight, and you can check it out. It's pretty good, man. We're getting better at editing, and we had the really good cameras. I got those Canon XF100 camera. That's the one that has the night vision, and I got the XF300. That's the camera I'm on right now that you're looking at. That's a real professional camera. It doesn't have night vision, though. That's the only thing. I can't believe they didn't put it on there. It's got everything else on this camera. But we put that down in the lobby of the building there and just let it roll with over the air. I'm going to get a really good directional microphone too to leave that on there. We're going to go back to Sal's, but we are definitely going to walk down the street and see exactly what else in terms of EVPs we can get. We already had some guys talking to us on YouTube about going down to that Tipsy, whatever it's called, whatever the name of that bar is. If you look it up there, Marino, on the, if you've got a open up a Firefox screen and put it to the right. Yeah, put it over to the right. Pull it over to the right. You're blocking up my YouTube. There you go. Tipsy McSwain's, I think it's called. And he said that that's haunted. And I can believe that it's got to be crazily haunted. All these places are. I mean, this one's just got so many voices in it. And it's really interesting, especially the names and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure they're clearly aware that Sal is in there. If you heard the one EVP, they know who Sal is. So Sal texted me today. Now every time he goes into the building, he's well aware that there's a number of different people watching him. So it's pretty interesting. I don't know what point of time they're in. We did an EVP just before the end. Kenny asked who the president was, and I got an EVP. It's at the very end of the video that says Obama. So I don't know what that means. And the first and last names of the people, other than the Vanessa prayer, I haven't been able to find anybody's names, but they're pretty clear names. Now, there were a lot of kind of one-off words, and in this video, I tried to like kind of edit the ones that weren't super clear out of there, so that we were left with just the pure EVPs. I'm gonna go to the clip one upstairs. There's a lot of kind of one-off EVPs on this where I didn't repeat them. They just, you went through it and there's lots of words. But there just seemed to be a whole number of different people, including female voices, various female voices that came in, and just, it was as if a bunch of people were standing around. Now, here's what I noticed, too. In the beginning of the video, the EVPs weren't so terribly robust. But the longer we got into the investigation, it was as if more people discovered that they could talk and be heard and stuff like that. When we go back, we're going to do a bunch of experiments with LCD screens. I'm going to bring a Tesla coil that I've had for a long time here. See if we can fire up and get some ions flowing in the air there and see what comes of that. And then I want to do these tests that I did with LCD screens, because I had some pretty cool responses to that. When you put pictures up, it seems that they are able to either perceive or see or somehow interpret what's on that LCD screen. We're going to put up pictures and stuff like that. I want to see if, spirits can spell, or, if you write something up there, if they can read. I mean, who knows what the condition of a spirit is? Do they have the intelligence to read, to hear, to interpret, or are they just randomly saying things that were said earlier on in their life? I'm going to go to clip one just to check out this clip. It's this is on the second floor. It picks up where we left off in that back room, and there's a whole bunch of one-off EVPs on this, which are really pretty cool. Let it roll, Marino.
Well, my hand got cold up here, I tell you that.
Hey, that spirit that was pushing on my leg, can you come back over here and just put your hand right over the orange on this meter? No? We're going now. That was cool. Look that up. Wow. Contiga? Did you say Contiga?
Contica? You hear it?
Wow, that was...
Wow.
That was class A.
Yes, I sure did.
That was class A.
Awesome.
Right now. Yeah, right now.
You know what this guy's name is right here? He owns the building. Technically, you're supposed to pay him rent. This His name's Sal.
His name's Sal.
Sal Senecola.
You're welcome here as long as you're good, kind spirits. We welcome you.
I am. See, hear that? It's cool.
Wow.
Dude, this place is more haunted than the Spring Street house.
Voices are great.
Booty.
Hey, we're in front of the building. How many spirits are in the front here?
So much going on.
How many spirits are here in this room?
See it going in and out.
Hey, tell me who the president is right now, or at least when you were alive. What was that?
I don't know, but it was a full sentence.
De Gaulle, it said. Yeah, so yeah, I apologize for a couple of those EVPs or the edit. For some reason, the editor is putting some distortion in on those, but just a couple of them. But you can hear. I like that one about the president. That's always an interesting question to ask. We've done it in most investigations. Ask who the president. This one says de Gaulle. I listened to it a bunch of times. Charles de Gaulle was the president of France from 1959 to 1969. So I don't know. We got this particular investigation. We got a couple of different voices in different languages. Got an Italian clip. After Sal's, it said basically give some respect. It said it in Spanish after the comment directed at Sal that was about the back room and the nefarious activity that was going on back there. But there was a guy named Raul, and whoever Raul was, that his voice seems to be the Spanish voice that I heard throughout. I haven't heard that in too many investigations, multiple languages. This time we did have that. You guys, if anybody wants to call in, you can call in at 904-302-7220. The phone number is right there to the left of me, which is right there. You can see it. 904-302-7220. Any comments, questions for me or Marino? We're going to be going back to Sal's in a couple weeks. We got some stuff coming up. We got boxing in another 2 weeks up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Christy Martin's fight. I'd love to do some. That building we're in Charlotte's probably haunted too. That center stage at Note. It looks like an old building. It's probably haunted. Any of these theaters and things, they seem to be paranormal hubs. Every time you see any of these ghost hunting shows, they love going to these theaters. Something about them that makes people want to show up after they die at these theaters. Maybe it was a place of entertainment. Maybe they worked there. Maybe they performed there. Who knows what the situation is? But it seems to be a hub for activity. I got the feeling that this entire downtown Brunswick is just a hub of activity for spirits because there was so much going on for so many years. It was a thriving city. It was as Sal described earlier, it was a pass through Route 25 or whatever that is, Gloucester Street, was a pass through going north to south. So you actually went through the city when you were traveling from north to south, and you ended up going through a very thriving downtown. Theaters, stores, grocery stores, clothing stores, all kinds of stuff was going on there. Now it's pretty dead right now. I mean, go down there, no pun intended. It looks like it's a town that just was abandoned. You go anytime I've ever been there, there's just not a lot of people. There's some nice restaurants down there and stuff like that, but those brick buildings, whenever I see those bricks, there's something about those bricks that seems to just hold the spirit world inside of it. It's pretty wild. Anytime you ever see those buildings, every building we've been in that's built out of bricks like that. We went to the antique store, which is just 2 blocks away, or 3 blocks away, or 4, whatever it is, on Gloucester Street. It was the same thing. But this one, Sal's seems to have way more people, way more spirits, way more bigger variety of voices. And like I said, the best activity happened when we went outside. Now, the building next door to the Bijou Theater, which is on 1313 Gloucester Street. In the picture here on the left, you can just see the marquee on the left-hand side. And apparently, I'm not sure if the building, another building was attached to it or part of it. My guess is it was 2 separate buildings, because I can't imagine if they took one down and the floor joists went across. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they repaired it. I don't know. But there's a parking lot. We walked out into the parking lot, and Sal was talking about how there's a tiny little kind of park next door, and that some homeless people have died there. And anytime there's homeless people, there's all kinds of craziness that goes on. And he claims that some people died there recently or whatever. But boy, did we get some really cool, long, full-blown sentences on these EVP sessions when we were outside. Really cool, like I've never had before. When I just could see them on the Spectrum, and I should take pictures of the Spectrum that you can see the not the Spectrum, but the sound bar that shows what the actual sound looks like in the editor. The look of it was like nothing I've ever seen. It was broken up, like gaps in it, and it was over. One of them was 2.8 seconds. Another one was over 3 seconds long. It was a full sentence, and we got them on this last clip, number 5. But this clip's rather extended, but check it out. The best EVPs are on here, and they're really interesting. We were outside on the side of the building, then we walked behind the building, and those 2 buildings that are attached are gutted, not only on the inside, but the walls from the front and back are gutted, and on the front side there's just boards over it. But there obviously was stuff going on there, because the voices are incredible. And I don't know if they're enhanced by that antenna that's right next to us, because it's, the antenna is broadcasting, so maybe there's extra electrons or something like that. But boy, if I could recreate that situation in other places, I'm sure we could get way better, longer EVPs. But check this out. It's clip 5. It's outside of 1313 Newcastle Street and around the back of it. Check it out. Anybody die here? Sal's parking lot? Anybody die here in the parking lot? Working it for people. Whoa! Wow, that was cool. Somebody just said a whole bunch right there. That Ted one was clear. How many spirits are sitting in here right now? Evil.
That's what I heard.
Hold on. Are there any spirits here walking around in this building? What's your name? How many spirits are in here right now? That was really good. Trying to talk sentences.
Right.
Get back. Did he just say get back?
Get back or go back.
Okay. All right. Well, we're standing back. But what's your name? The person said get back. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the meter.
Whoa, 2.5.
Whoa.
Wow.
It just walked right up by us.
Wow.
How many spirits are here with us right now?
Whoa.
Is this the big party spot? Chucky. I like this EVP coming up. This is the best one. What is that saying? Man, he's trying to say like a whole thing.
There's no way that could be
We've never
the same
heard that
thing over that many stations.
We've never heard that thing on this SB7.
No, this whole town is just
It's
creepy.
going blip, 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 blip. What? The person that's saying that whole sentence, what's your name? Tell me what you're trying to say.
That's some creepy drawing going on.
I know.
Pig with X's in its eyes. And something very evil looking, smoking something.
Boy, there is a whole lot going on in here, Sal. Let me tell you what, holy crap, I can just feel the... I can feel a whole bunch of shit went on in here. What went on inside here? I know. Right here in front of this building. And what? What's your name? Reno.
Hey, who's the president right now?
Right, we're gonna leave, so bye. Have a great day. Have a great night.
Thank you for talking with us.
Richard O'Keefe.
I said Richard Pete.
All right, Richard Pete. That was you.
Richard Pete.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. It's probably a spirit that's guarding it, but in here, I don't get any bad vibes, especially with the guy up in the back there, whatever his name is. We'll figure out what his name was, but he came right up, walked around, and he walked right by us at the very end.
A lot of time. You'll see when you watch the video back, especially in that room, it kept blurring out.
They have really super sensors on these, Sal. They're pushing
You guys blew my mind.
waves, and when something walks in front of them,
I'll never come into this building again with the same. I mean, I'll always.
Well, now you know.
Blew my mind. Blew my mind. I'll tell you.
I told you, Sal. Wait till you hear when it's edited. When it's edited, then you're gonna go.
Okay, hope I didn't poop in there. That was a great one. You guys, Caddy, if you're watching, man, those 4 EVPs were lights out, man. Those EVPs, they were like more sentences than we've ever gotten anywhere. I mean, those were definitely the 4 or 5 best EVPs we've ever gotten. In any investigation, there's something going on there electrically that was allowing them to get out the extra words that they were saying there. But man, hope I didn't poop in there. That'd be something. I was sitting there thinking maybe that was a guy, like a homeless guy, that was saying, "Hey, I hope I didn't poop in there," because there's stuff there where people have been kind of hanging out. That good camera work there, by the way, too, with the creepy pig with the X's on the eyes, and then the dude smoking the weird joint or whatever he was smoking. That painting on the side adds to the creepiness of that place. I don't know what it was. I looked it up. It says liver pills on the side, on the inside. So, but there isn't anything that is really indicates what that place was. We'll have to dig into the history of it. I'm sure there's historians in Brunswick that'll tell us there. We just got to hook up with the right people there. They will tell us exactly what was going on there. But there was something very lively going on in that business next door. So it's pretty cool. If you all want to call in, 904-302-7220. This is our 3rd episode. I hope we got all the bugs worked out, because we're having problems here. We hit some kind of a hum. I got 15 soundboards here, and I can't get the outside noise out of it. But hopefully I got it out this time, and it's coming through pretty clearly to you guys there. But I can't wait to go back to Sal. Sal keeps bugging me about going back already. I think he's freaked out and he's interested at the same time, and I don't think he's listened to the totality of the first video, but he better listen to the second video before he goes in that building again and does anything.
because there's definitely people watching, and they definitely know who he is, which is pretty cool. And it's just validates what we've kind of known all along, doing this EVP investigations now since 2012. So it's been 7 years. We've done a lot. We've done over 100. I was looking at just today. Part 2 of this has 77 EVPs on it, which one of the things I don't understand is I watch Ghost Adventures. You know, I'm a huge fan of that show. They just never seem to get the EVPs that I do. So I'm not sure if I'm doing something really right and they're doing something really wrong, or I'm missing something here. But some of these, you know, you can confuse certain noises for sorry about that. You can call right back in. I had my telephone turned on. It picks up first when you dial in, so I got to turn off my telephone. But just call back if you were calling in. But you can, you know, on some of these EVPs, there's a couple of things. You can pick them up, and then you can edit them, and then you can hear that the noise is just something totally undiscernible when you slow it down. And those are almost always, that is radio noise. That's just distorted, and it doesn't mean anything. But when you slow something down 15, 18, 20%, and you get the EVP, you hear the voice, you hear what they're saying, it can be you know, it can be pretty convincing that you are on the right track, and you're hearing, you know, at least you're identifying the phenomenon. Because a lot of people will just tell you, well, it's, you know, it's just radio noise. I don't hear a radio noise. And I tell people, put a headset on when you're listening to this stuff. You're going to sit and listen to it. When you're going to sit and listen to it without headset on, you're going to listen to it on your phone or something. You're not going to get the full effect of it. You can't hear everything that I can hear with a quality studio set of headphones like this, or what Marino's got on right now. You just can't. So put the headset on when you're listening to it, and you'll be a little bit more agreeable to what we're saying. And just understand, the other thing is, I've edited, you know, so it was 77 on this part, so I'm guessing, you know, 100 plus EVPs on videos, and I've done 105 videos, so whatever that number comes out to, 10,000 EVPs I've listened to. There's a lot of duplicates of the things that we hear, like the word purple. You know, Kenny he knows, he's heard that word himself a whole bunch of times. We don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. You know, there's I need like one of those people, like maybe Kat can interpret that for us. She's a little bit more of a psychic and a little bit more of a medium. Those kind of people can tell us what purple means. Maybe you can tell me right now, Kat, what, if you're watching, I think you're on right now, but what purple means. It's been throughout our broadcast since White Springs. It's virtually on every single one we hear that word purple. The other thing we always hear is Pontica, which is the nickname we had for Marino when he was younger. And we used to have Marino's name, but now they just say Pontica all the time. They've just hooked onto that name, and they say it. It's in this broadcast. It's in every single one we've done every time. I did get another one of Biscup for the first time in a long time, so maybe Biscup's around, or somebody's knows the word and is just repeating. It's pretty cool. But these interpretations that I do, the stuff that I edit, I mean, it's my opinion of what I'm hearing. I've heard now, you know, 10,000 of them, so a lot of times you can hear the same EVP over and over again, and you know what it is. It doesn't take a lot of interpretation. Then you know, and that's 15% of them. The rest of them are all something I haven't heard before. New words, some in Spanish occasionally, these full sentences that you hear. Sometimes I've edited these, literally posted it on YouTube and listened to the YouTube version of it, and it was totally different. There's an example of that on the EVP up at St. Simon's Island, down the street from the lighthouse, and there was a really high, really crazy voice that said, "I'm an angel," but I totally heard something different on it, and I posted it on YouTube, and then I actually went and put captions over it, because when I heard it on YouTube, it was totally different. It said, "I'm an angel," which is kind of crazy, because that's the spot where people see this woman walking on the beach, and supposedly she lost her husband, who was a mariner, and
and he went out to sea and he drowned or something happened to him and he never came back. And she walks up and down on low tide. And dial it again, Kenny. If I'll pick it up. Sorry about that. I had it on my phone, and it rings into the phone first. Let me just. Let me just turn it off so to make sure we don't get it. That's a pain. Skype is like pretty relentless. It just rings. It's when you have it on your phone. It does not let you shut off Skype. You can't turn it off. You can't tell it not to ring. It just rings no matter what. So I get spam calls on here and everything. It rings whether I want it to or not. There's no way to shut off the ringing if you have Skype installed. So let me just shut it off one more time, and then you can call back in and we'll pick it up if we get it. But so on the interpretation of these EVPs, it's totally up to me and what I think I hear. I'm just captioning it what I think you guys might. What somebody else might hear too, so you can agree or disagree with what I'm saying on it. But I have listened to a bunch, and I do think I'm a little bit more in tune with what I'm hearing. I'm not by no means any kind of spiritual medium or anything like that. I'm just like Kenny and Tanya and Marino would agree. I don't think any of us are spiritual mediums, but we are way more aware of what's going on, especially during these investigations, hearing sounds. Now, when we do Sal's again, we're going to do some straight up over the air recording without the SB7 turned on. Those are really the most interesting EVPs when you can hear it right over the air, because there just doesn't seem to be any explanation for it. It just gets closer and closer to the reality of what you're hearing. And we've heard some of those over the air EVPs, and those are the ones that always kind of freak me out the most, because there's just no explanation for anything. If you're the only one in the room, or you're not even in the room and you hear these voices on there, it's pretty wild. We're going to do that at Sal's again. I'm going to do that. We're going to do some LCD screen pictures and stuff like that. I'm going to run cameras in different places. I got some extra people that want to show up, but it can be a problem if you have too many people there, because people just can't resist talking. That's the problem. And when you talk over the EVPs, then it's really hard to edit them out. I've gotten better at it, but it's hard. But the LDL Paranormal people pretty much know that you're not supposed to talk, and they're pretty good about it. And they just ask questions. Like Kenny will chime in with a question here and there, but you got to stay quiet on it to make sure that they come through. Because what happened here in 1313 was they started out really slow, and then as it grew, it was either I don't know if the spirits were realizing that they were able to speak and they were able to be heard. And then they just started more and more and more and more, and they just kept going. First and last names, full sentence outside. It was getting better and better and better. So my guess is that when we show up again, it's going to pick up right where it left off. That's exactly what happened in White Springs. We turned on the SB7, got a couple of voices, got the Biscuit voice. Then when we came back that second time, it was lights out. It was just one voice after another, and everybody found it appropriate to speak. So that's what's going to happen here. But we still got the phone lines open for a couple more minutes. 904-302-7220 if you want to call in. It's our third episode. Hope we got all the bugs worked out in the studio here. I mean, we got them all worked out for Nate's show. And for the most part, in all of our boxing, I don't know why the Soul Inspector, maybe the spirits got to us or something. But hopefully the audio is good. I know our video is good. We got the 8 cameras here in the studio. Works out pretty well. But give us a call if you want to talk about one of these posts that we have. We're going to put this post up, part 2. I'm going to post it on Facebook tonight and on YouTube. Check it out. Put a set of headsets on. Put a headset on and take a listen to it and tell me what you think. I welcome your opinion on stuff. I get tons of opinions still on the White Springs video. It's sometimes you get skeptic people and trolls and all the rest of this stuff, but for the most part, it's just people kind of saying, "Hey, that's pretty cool." It's cool to hear. I agree with this. It was amazing on the White Springs one how many people in White Springs actually make comments on it, what they saw and what they see. I'm going to start focusing a little bit more on the visual aspect of it. We do have a really good 1080 camera now, that Canon with the night vision, and I've got these infrared lights that go on the top, portable infrared lights. I didn't bring them this time. It just puts a little bit more light on the subject. But boy, you can see, look in the part 1 video, you can see that orb that goes right over my head, like right here, just before it feels like I get touched on the back of the calf, or on the, on my pants. That's pretty cool. That's the first real orb that I've seen on this new camera. And I didn't really see any others, because when I'm editing for audio, I don't always listen to it, but it's pretty cool. But overall, it was a really fantastic investigation. Thanks to Sal for letting us in, and Kenny and Tanya for driving up from White Springs to do the investigation. It was really cool. It was very successful. We're going to go back. We're going to do it. Have some Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria. Again, if you're watching the show, grab a bottle today. SouthernGourmetSpice.com. Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. I'm the biggest promoter of that particular item. Goes on salads, seafood, chicken, and of course pork ribs. Anything pork, you can put it on.
Wouldn't recommend ice cream though.
Ice cream, I've done it before. It is pretty good on ice cream. It's got a cool flavor to it that mixes with the ice cream. It's kind of cool. People put spices on ice cream. Yeah, Marino says no, but it's not true. Get yourself a bottle today at SouthernGourmetSpice.com, and then Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria, best pizza in the state of Georgia. I am sure of that. Probably anywhere south of Washington D.C. It's the best pizza. He's at 3415 Frederica Road in St. Simon's Island. He's got the scariest building in Brunswick, and he's got the best pizza in St. Simon's Island. But this was our second episode. Check out all of our videos. You can see them on LDL Paranormal. I try to post them up there, regularly. And then, of course, the show link is on soulinspector.com. I got a pretty good website that we built, and you can get to the Ustream feed on there. We try to make the show come off at 7 o'clock, but if we're editing or something goes late, it'll be on Sunday nights from here on out. I'm going to be skipping probably next week, because we'll be hanging out with Morgan on her birthday. But after that, when we come back from the fight, I'll probably be back on, and may do a little EVP session in that center stage at NODA, because we're going to be setting up on Friday, and if we're there by ourselves, I might click on the SB7 and see what happens in this building. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know what part of Charlotte it's in, but it looks like a fairly older building. It's got rafters that look like was like a warehouse or something before, but check it out. But we will be back on air in 2 weeks, doing our thing and showing our videos and inspecting your soul on soulinspector.com. Thanks to Kenny, Tanya, Sal. Marino is the producer of this show, and he does it every week. 7 o'clock. Facebook Live, YouTube, Ustream, and Periscope coming soon. We can get them to cooperate. Check it out. Peace out to all the spirits. Soul Inspector.